welcome back and I hope you guys are doing great. So first things first, if you feel like I'm in a zoo because of the background noises, then just so you know that I'm not. I just have a lot of birds around me and they tend to not shut up throughout the whole day, so you're gonna have to bear with it. Next thing is, today's video is actually about the products that I feel like I would never ever buy. So these are the products that for one reason or the other I feel like I personally do not have a place in my collection. So that could be because of the price, because of the formula, because of any certain things. And if you ever see me buy these products, you are allowed to say that Prutha, you are an absolute idiot for buying that particular product to my face. I give you the full permission to say that to my face. So yeah, that's how much I feel strongly about these products. So yeah, let's get started with the video. Okay, so the first product I feel like I would never ever purchase is the product that actually inspired this entire video. So the product that I'm talking about is the Pat McGrath palettes. Yeah, so the reason why I personally don't feel comfortable buying those palettes is, first of all, the price tag. No eyeshadow palette needs to retail for $125. That's infuriating, to be honest. And okay, I get it. If you have the money, buy it. This is just my personal opinion. The reason why I personally don't feel like they are worth it even before trying them is because these palettes are specifically known for their shimmery formula or the interesting duochromatic formula. I feel like the reason why the brand is so famous is either for the price tags and these palettes, and specifically those few shades that they have in their palettes. The reason why I cannot rationalize this purchase is because, first, I'm broke. Second of all is, in the 10-pan eyeshadow palettes, there are like 2 shades, those shimmery beautiful duochromatic shades. There are only 2 of those, so I'm paying like 10,000 rupees for these palettes and I'm only getting 2 of those shadows, and everything else is either the normal shimmer formula or our mattes. Now the mattes can be absolutely creamy, the shimmers can be absolutely gorgeous. I just don't get that how can you not get that effect from any other palettes. And I've seen creators whom I personally love those palettes so much, but I have never ever looked at their eye looks, the eye looks that they create with those palettes, and think, oh, that looks like it cannot be achieved with any other palette. Maybe it's just the user experience. I know the packaging costs a lot, it's pretty heavy, everything is premium about that brand. I personally, for myself, cannot rationalize making a purchase of $125 for 10 eyeshadows, out of which 8 are either something that I can get from other palettes, maybe not as creamy, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's fine. I can work with whatever I have. Having said that, if they ever come out with a palette, a 10-pan palette, not 10, please, I don't have that sort of money. If they ever come with a 10-pan palette and all of those shades are kind of interesting, duochromatic, not duochromatic specifically, but you know what I'm talking about, these sort of shades, I'll try to insert the swatches or something. So those kind of shades, if they ever come out with a palette which has all of those shades, then maybe I can actually consider picking one of that up. Right now, that's not even the question. No, that's not happening. I have to sell my soul if I want to purchase that palette. Pat McGrath, she's a great makeup artist. I've seen her work and it's absolutely gorgeous. If you feel like you can rationalize this purchase for yourself, go ahead. It's a great palette. I'm sure the formula is top notch. I'm sure everything about it is high class, but I'm just too low for that. I know they came out with a small capsule palette kind of a thing where you had 5 shimmer eyeshadows, and I didn't see anyone talk about it as much, so maybe the formula in the smaller palettes, it's different. But yeah, right now I do not have any sort of thought on picking those palettes up. So the next thing I want to mention is Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadow quads. Now I know her brand is supposed to be premium. It's not high-end necessarily, it's in those lines of falling into luxury almost, so I get it. Her quads retail for like $50 or $55, somewhere around those lines. I'm not exactly sure. Her complexion products, I feel like they're fine. If anything, she doesn't make it at a extravagant price, I feel, so they are fine. But 4 eyeshadows for like $50, if those were worth it, or if that formula was something out of the world, I would be willing to pay that price point. But it's not. If anything, people are only saying that it's not actually worth it. Obviously, there are people who enjoy that formula, and if you like it, you buy it. It's not my business. But all of her quads are mostly very generic color stories. I'm aware that they did come out with some interesting color stories, but even that did not appeal to me. So yeah, that's why Charlotte Tilbury palettes, or specifically the quads, are not something I tend or I intend to ever purchase. The next product are Stila liquid eyeshadows. So I'm pretty sure everyone everyone knows that that trend happened. I think it happened in 2018 and it's still kind of going on. I feel like that Stila liquid eyeshadow is what put Stila back onto the market. They were kind of falling off, but the Stila liquid eyeshadows were what really put them out back onto the market. So those retail for $24. Why? And from what I've heard, they actually dry out pretty quickly. If you choose the smaller size specifically, I feel like I've heard things about it drying out in like 2 months. I'm not paying $24 for something, first of all, which I'm not gonna use every single day of my life for even 3 months. And if it's gonna end or if it's gonna dry out in 3 months, shouldn't you be working on a better formula for that price point? Once again, I know people who really enjoy them, and I feel like at this point we just have better options. They are not just the only brand who create those kind of eyeshadows. Even in India, something like Swiss Beauty creates those eyeshadows. Maybe the finish might not be the exact same as those particular eyeshadows, but it's close enough. It's fine. Maybe if they were a little bit cheaper, I would have been able to rationalize it. I cannot. It's just not my cup of tea personally. So yes, Stila liquid eyeshadows are another example of things that I don't see the point of buying in. So yeah, the next things are Morphe palettes. Now Morphe, when I say Morphe palettes, first of all, I mean the palettes where they have 50 shades of brown, the 35 pan palettes where you have repeats of the same shade like thrice. When I look at their palettes, I just feel like this can be easily made into maybe a 16, 12 or even a 9 pan palettes. That's how repetitive some of their shadows are. I just don't see why would you need 50 shades of brown that probably are gonna look the same on your eyes and nobody is gonna be able to differentiate them, not even you yourself. So even if you're getting 35 eyeshadows for whatever price point you're paying, I just don't feel like it just doesn't make any sense to my brain. So that's why I'm gonna be passing on the Morphe 35 big palette things. Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Now I'm pretty sure most of you guys watching will know the big reason behind this. The other reason is that I never really had any Jeffree Star product where I looked at it and felt, wow, this is absolutely gorgeous and I need to pick this one up. Neither of his color stories ever appealed to me. The whole Shane Dawson palette, I cannot believe that the entire makeup industry was fooled into thinking that that particular palette was such a revolutionary palette. I'm not saying that the color story was bad, but yeah, it was bad. I did unfortunately watch the documentary and it was nice seeing how a brand can work. I just don't feel like that palette was anything good. Like even after watching the whole documentary series, I was not convinced on that palette. That's how ugly it was. And then the biggest issue is him being racist, blatantly racist. I hate that the beauty community has gotten this reputation of being problematic because of one particular guy. I'm not saying he is the only one who contributed to it, but if you look at the scandals that maybe drew people's attention to the beauty community, he has been part of almost every single one of them. There is something about him that just gives me just negative vibes overall. Same goes with Shane. I feel like I tried to watch Shane's videos because so many people liked him, loved him. I just couldn't get into his humor, which I'm now glad that I never really paid attention to him or Jeffree Star, both of them. It's just funny how things work. But yeah, Jeffree Star Cosmetics, not only him as a owner of the brand who is racist, who is problematic, there is no way I feel comfortable making that person rich with my money. That's just not happening. Neither of his products have ever appealed to me. You know, with brands, even if you hate them, you at least have one particular product that you feel, yeah, this will be worth it. I look at his brand, I hate everything about it. The packaging, it's his aesthetic, I get it, not my thing. And everything just looks so tacky to me, even the color stories, yeah, no. That's probably my biggest flex, is that I never really supported Jeffree or Shane, both. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that fact. Next is, I'm just gonna combine a few different things. Apricot scrubs, wet tissues, sheet masks that don't actually do anything because they are just serums dipped into a mask. Just apply the damn serum. You don't need a sheet mask. But these things, I've talked about them previously, so I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not against physical exfoliants entirely. I just don't feel like comfortable with those sort of physical exfoliants, which are the apricot and walnut scrub kind of things. The same goes for wet tissues and stuff. Wet tissues don't really even take your makeup off entirely. Just use a cleansing balm, use a micellar water, any of those two. Just don't go on the wet tissue route. It's not good for your skin. It's not good for the environment. So why are they here? Let's talk about this, because I wasn't actually gonna, or I totally forgot about this. I saw this in another YouTuber's video. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Fasali Unicorn Serum. So I'm pretty sure Fasali makes more of these gimmicky sort of products than catering to actual good skin or actual good primers. That's just specifically for Instagram. You can tell that it's just for Instagram, and for the price it retails, I just don't feel like it's worth it. Okay, you'll make 2 videos with that, but it actually needs to have some sort of effect either on your makeup or on your skin. First of all, it's not even hygienic putting a dropper and touching it to your face directly. There is a reason why there are droppers in skincare products, so that you don't contaminate the product. Take it in your hand and then apply it. And yeah, this is probably not for the Unicorn Essence Serum. This is just for skincare that is supposed to be caring for your skin, and not something that is just for Instagram, but I don't feel comfortable with it. So yeah, it's available in India, and maybe if they ever have a product where I feel, oh yeah, this is an interesting concept, I will pick it up. I just don't see the point in those. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm not gonna pick up for myself. So 2 more things remaining. First is luxury brands making makeup that is actually of a really bad quality. I get it, that makeup is specifically made for one demographic, which is rich white older ladies. I'm clearly not that, and if you pick that makeup up, good for you. And I'm not saying all of these cater to this specific demographic, that's not my intention. I just feel like the brands that are like, okay, this retails for $100, it has 4 shades in it, but if you swatch them on your hand, you'll probably see nothing and just chalk. You're a big brand, why are you doing this to me? So yeah, I just don't like luxury makeup that is like this. It's idiotic in my opinion, and it gets me angry quite often. Not my cup of tea. If it's yours, go ahead. I'm sorry I called you a rich old white lady. So the last thing I wanted to mention is eyeshadow palettes that are from random brands where you are actually not given any sort of ingredient list. I personally don't feel comfortable, and this does not go for eyeshadows, this also goes for lip products. So on Amazon, if you will see, there are a lot of products trying to mimic maybe Kylie eyeshadows or even Morphe eyeshadows, and you can clearly tell that this is not from a renowned brand. Even Makeup Revolution copies things, but they market it as Makeup Revolution. They actually add their own branding on it, but this is just, it kind of scares me that you're not provided with any sort of ingredient list and stuff. Yesterday I was reading an article about something being found in the Beauty Glazed palettes. So they are specifically known for their bigger eyeshadow palette, but they are imitations of other big palettes. And having heard that there have been incidents where something like rat poison has been put on eyeshadows. Do you want that thing on your eyes or in your face or even on your lips? I don't. Please don't put random eyeshadows on your eyes. Don't do it, you guys. I know it's tempting, I know they're affordable. Don't pick things from them. Just try to go for your authentic brands. Maybe you will have to pay a little bit of a higher price tag, but at least you won't be at a risk of possibly even losing your eyesight at some point. I don't know. You don't know what they put in those products. Stay with your authentic brands, you guys. It's definitely a better choice in the longer run. So those are the things that I'm not absolutely planning to buy. Let me know what your guys' purchases are. Are there things that you feel like you will never ever pick up in your lifetime? Maybe at some point I would love to do a part 2 of this video, or if I ever buy any of these things, I would love to make a video and tell you guys to call me an idiot to my face. So this is obviously for fun's sake, don't take it too seriously. Please don't be offended at any of my opinions. This is just me, my personal thing. Yeah, so yeah, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please like, comment and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Apparently you have to say this too now, so yeah, you're gonna have to hear that too in every single video. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.